I've known Dick Cheney through Gerald Ford since 1975. He is the most brutal person I've ever encountered personally by far. But it's his attitude and his agenda that is so frightening. Who we have in position of president is a figurehead, the spokesperson, which is why back during the Reagan-Bush administration, while George Bush and Dick Cheney were running everything from behind the proverbial wizard's curtain or behind the scenes, then Ronald Reagan could be up front and say what they needed him to. Because he was an actor, he was able to do that. But he wasn't the one who was running the country, not back then. And so it has gone now through various administrations. With Bill Clinton, for example, which was, I've known Bill Clinton since 1979 when he was governor of Arkansas, and I knew him through some CIA black ops that were involved in the CIA cocaine operations going through Mena, Arkansas. But Bill Clinton was being groomed to slip into the office of president because he would do and say what needed to be done, and he certainly had the ability to manipulate people with the way that he spoke. And therefore, it was decided in 1984 that I heard him and George Bush talking at Swiss Villa Amphitheater in Lampe, Missouri, that when people became disillusioned with Republicans leading them into the New World Order, then Bill Clinton as a Democrat would be put into place. It happened. I had also, and this was in Transformation of America, and it was released in 1995. That information that had been compiled. Was aware of this for so many years, and also that George Bush Jr. was going to be put into the office of president, not as someone who could think for himself, but as someone who would do exactly what he was told to do. George Bush Jr. can deliver a speech very well, because all he has to do is voice it and mouth it exactly like he's told to do. But to ask him a question that he has to think of creatively or to answer on his own, the tongue goes to the side of the mouth and he doesn't come off just very, very, very bright. That's because he's not the one who's thinking of where our country is going or where it's been. He's not the one who's aware. We got to look behind the scenes. The person that we see, the figurehead that we see as president, is not the one that's in control, and the next one's not likely to be either. And I believe that's why that Schwarzenegger's being groomed accordingly, because he too is an actor and he can voice and say whatever he's told to do as well. This is coming unless we wake up and wise up. But according to the plans that I heard at Bohemian Grove in Northern California, at the Swiss Villa Amphitheater, which is actually a CIA mind control epicenter where they train military special forces. Also Mount Shasta, California, where they train military special forces with mind control, which is where I had seen George Bush Jr. being programmed and trained and groomed as well. These particular epicenters are places where I heard numerous for who was going to be put into place and how the minds of the people could actually be manipulated. And I've learned through that Hillary is one being groomed as well, because not robotically or under mind control. As a matter of fact, she is definitely more criminally intelligent than Bill Clinton even. but since people in America have been socially engineered to forget the crimes during the Clinton administration and only think of the perversion, diversion, Lewinsky affair, the Hillary being paraded as an illusion of change as a woman is also forthcoming. So those are two very key people that are being maneuvered into place as well. We need to become aware of this. We need to learn to expand our thinking and realize what is going on. Because when you go outside this country, it's accepted knowledge that our president is under mind control. It's accepted knowledge that Dick Cheney is very much in control, and that George Bush Sr., his closest friend and comrade, has been for a long time. Those are two key people at the top of this pyramid of power that I'm aware of. And it's essential that we realize they've been in power for a long, long time, and it's inexcusable to leave them in anymore. It's inexcusable to keep following these leaders we didn't elect. So what can we do about it? That is very much a motive behind Mark and I releasing our most recent book, Access Denied for Reasons of National Security. It contains much information on healing. It includes the exact formula, step by step, of how I recovered from my extreme mind control victimization. That same recovery methodism that set me free can set everyone free to be able to break away from the social engineering that's been put on society, to where a person can learn to expand their thinking a bit further. After Mark rescued my daughter and I in 1988, and he gave me a formula for deprogramming that I was able to use to deprogram myself. The first thing he did was strap a watch to my wrist and tell me to watch my watch, because I needed to have an awareness of time. With an awareness of time came a conscious awareness, or an ability to begin to monitor my own actions. With awareness came responsibility to follow my own will. But I know from personal experience that without free thought, there's no free will. And without free will, there's no soul expression. Just like I mentioned how my spirit had taken flight to that safe, loving place that was just so removed while my body was tortured to carry out the will of others. I needed to have that back in order to be able to stand strong for what I believed in, to be able to implement my own free will, and to be able to think for myself in order to realize what had actually been going on all those years of my life. Because when Mark rescued me in 1988, I was totally amnesic. I didn't know who I was, where I'd been. I didn't know how old I was, what year it was, until I began remembering what had happened. And because I felt safe for the first time in my life, and because I felt love, I was having memory flashes that were just flashing on my mind constantly, much the same way that people who are sexually abused oftentimes have those memories begin to break right around age 30, because our bodies have numerous changes that are going on at that time, where the neuron pathways of the brain begin to change and memories begin to come forward. So with a combination of being safe for the first time, and the combination of love, and the fact that I was turning 30 and I was having these memory flashes, I needed to begin to remember and piece together my own life, what had happened.